Greetings everyone and happy spring. We are just about to conclude the first module of the Contemplative Studies program, and I wanted to give you a little update and preview of the coming attractions with Module 2. Just to recap, we have now a global community of nearly 150 earnest practitioners. We spent the last 6 weeks covering the foundations of Buddhist psychology, namely the structure of the Four Noble Truths and our basic mindfulness meditation practice, all taught within the perspective of contemporary psychotherapy and neuroscience, as to not isolate people, but also to pay homage to the tradition and the way the tradition presents itself. Having now firmly established ourselves in that framework, and really I've pushed all of our students not to use it as a kind of a high philosophy abstraction, but really as a very relevant way to view and understand and work with one's own inner demons and one's own existential predicament. I think we are now in a position to move to Course 2, which I'm basically calling a set of Trauma Informed lectures. So we will begin with a meditation workshop, and the workshop will be on what the Lam Rim tradition calls the Six Preliminaries. The Six Preliminaries are very nuanced, sophisticated, and elegant, centuries-old way of practicing. So most of us in the secular world practice mindfulness by just sitting down and following the breath. Nothing wrong with that, but in the worldview of at least the Tibetan culture, there's a very elegant way to practice, which is to practice within the context of a spiritual setting, and to set up an altar and to make offerings to what is called the merit field, and to do our prayers and prostrations and practices within a kind of visualized context in order to generate and accumulate what's called merit. Now, all of that to the secular world is an unknown and unappreciated or underappreciated system of virtues and values and perspectives, which we'll unpack in the first workshop. And then we will proceed to the Trauma Informed lectures, where I hope to really empower people with the current neuroscience of the brain and the vagus system and the vagal nerve. Also how trauma, what the difference between trauma and PTSD is, how trauma impacts the brain, how it impacts perception, how it impacts our emotional regulation, how it impacts our relationships, why it is that we can't sustain relationships, why is it that we're bouncing between poles of rigidity and chaos, why it is that we always feel like things are happening to us in the same old way, we can never sort of escape a rut, why we don't feel safe. And to be very honest, in the last 10 years of my psychotherapy practice, working with thousands and thousands of people and thousands of hours, the number one issue why progress isn't made and transformation isn't tasted is because I think, and by the way, all the people that I work with are yoga practitioners and meditation practitioners, and the reason that they're not making progress is because there is an unidentified trauma lurking underneath that has been overlooked or avoided. And most of what I have to deal with at the outset is what's called spiritual bypassing, which is our tendency to use spiritual values, principles, and practices to sidestep the unwanted wounds of our past. And so I think this is the number one reason we're not making gains or progress. And so right out of the gate in the Contemplative Studies program, having ushered in the Four Noble Truths and the foundations of Buddhist psychology, we won't go any further until we have a proper understanding of trauma and empower all our students with the latest research so that they become informed consumers. And so by the end of Course 2, we will now have the foundations from the Buddhist point of view, but also the contemporary foundations for trauma and how to use mindfulness, breath, prayer, movement in the service of moving through trauma and the underlying blocks, so that we can then be in a position during module number 3 to really make good on a very extensive and very elegant visualization practice. So for those of you that are in the program, I want to thank you for your commitment and your vulnerability and your sincerity. At many junctures, I'm sure many of you, having looked nakedly and honestly and courageously at your predicament, could have bailed and did not. And that is a testament to your maturity and the kinds of people that I attract to my programs who really want to do the work. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for committing and staying through. You made it, and we still have a long way to go, but take a moment to congratulate yourself. I want to also thank my team, Lainey and Allison and Cole, and the facilitators, Mindy and Kristen and Emily and Heather, for doing an unbelievable bang-out job making the whole ship run smoothly. And I also now want to invite people who have been on the fence about joining or just hearing about the program. We welcome you at any time. Our program is evergreen. We have what's called a yogi path, which will entitle you to access to all the previous lectures and all the upcoming lectures, all the study guides, the readings and syllabus, and guided meditations, so that you can practice on your own time and on your own schedule, whether you start now and visit the program retrospectively, or do it concurrently, retrospectively, and all the new material in real time. That is all up to you, and that is the beauty of technology and having our Dharma center in the cloud. So please do feel welcome to join us at any time, and think about a 2-year opportunity to do some very deep personal transformation. And that is the name of the game in my program, is the hard work over the long haul in very incremental steps, very honest, very sincere, no highfalutin philosophies, very real, keep it real. Finally, I want to just note that everybody is aware of the terrible terrorist attack in Sri Lanka recently, and our thoughts and prayers are with the Sri Lankan people. We have been dedicating the merits for our practice for the last few weeks towards their healing and recovery, and in a bold act of solidarity with the people of Sri Lanka, we have decided to move forward with our pilgrimage this November 30th to December 13th. We will go, and we will go as an act of solidarity with the people, and we will choose love, and we will not choose fear. And so I want to welcome everybody to now apply and register for the pilgrimage. It will be an unbelievable pilgrimage, because now it means so much more than it did before the attack. And of course, don't forget that pilgrims have been going to Sri Lanka for over 2,000 years, and they have always faced adversity. And so you are no different, because now you're in a contemporary society. Now is the time to rise up to the challenge and to really embrace and understand the true value and purpose of pilgrimage, which is to let go of your negativities and to cultivate virtues and to illuminate your mind, and to do that as a group with a singular focus and amidst some of the most beautiful spiritually charged sites on the planet. So I hope that entices. Please do consider joining us for the pilgrimage. If you're already part of the Contemplative Studies program, thank you so much. If you're thinking about joining us for the Contemplative Studies program, please do, and I hope to see you very, very soon. All best wishes, and enjoy the weather.